Hi, it's Ocean. This is Ocean's Made Outfit Guide. So let's look at Austin Butler's outfits and take it from there. One thing I've noticed about Austin's style is his boots. I think they became a game changer for many of his outfits, both before and after he started wearing them regularly. Even when you simply look at the boots, you can see what makes them special. There's something beautiful about them. They're unique, they look right, and they feel like they belong on the ground. They're meant to be worn. They agree with the ground. And I think that's important when you're building your own style. The all-star influence. Looking at this outfit, you can see that he's wearing all stars. Like I said in a previous video, I think people who are naturally drawn to all stars often have some connection to vintage-inspired clothing. There's something about those shoes that gives you a certain direction. And sometimes, when you're still figuring yourself out, those little things start showing you where your style naturally wants to go. Maybe you start with all stars. Then you discover cowboy boots. Then you discover another type of boot with a longer shape or something with a more vintage feel. Your style changes as you discover yourself. But if you genuinely want to look like yourself, you have to allow those things to come naturally. Of course, you still have to seek them out. You have to experiment. You have to look at things and ask yourself, does this feel like me? Small changes can completely change an outfit. Now look at this outfit. There's the bandana, and he isn't even wearing a Carhartt jacket here. But if you compare this outfit with another one, you can see that they aren't actually that different. Then there's the gray pair of jeans and the denim jacket. This particular outfit was from a movie. And that's another thing I find interesting about Austin Butler. Imagine being in a movie and still having a character whose clothing feels completely natural to you. The director doesn't have to completely change everything about the character because the person already has something distinctive about them. That's the same idea I'm talking about with personal style. You don't always have to change your entire character. Sometimes the foundation is already enough. The importance of fit. Look at this outfit. Yes, there are the boots. Yes, there's the shirt. But now there's a different jacket. It's around waist level. And he looks like a regular person. But the outfit still works. It looks lived in. That's something I really like about this style. The jacket looks used. The shirt looks natural. The boots are worn with the laces loose. Nothing looks overly forced. And that brings me to something I talk about a lot: fit. The secret isn't always about buying expensive clothes. It's about buying things that feel comfortable and fit your proportions. If this jacket were much longer or much bigger, there would be a small difference in the entire outfit. The same thing applies to the leather jacket. It sits around the waist. It isn't excessively long. It doesn't cover the entire body. That changes the proportions of the outfit. You can actually see where the jacket ends and where the trousers begin. Then the trousers continue down toward the boots. Everything connects. The boots matter. And this is where the boots become important. If you're not a fan of boots, you could wear all stars instead. The outfit would still work, but it would create a different effect. The shoes change the relationship between the clothes and your body proportions. With Austin, I think the boots work because they create a strong, straight visual line. The boots are substantial. They have a vintage feeling. They look like something that agrees with the ground. That's why I think they complete so many of his outfits. Timberlands versus his other boots. Now let's look at these. I think these are Timberlands, but when I look at this outfit, something feels different. And I think it's the shoes. I'm not saying the shoes are bad. They might actually be shoes Austin personally likes. But when you compare this outfit with another outfit where he wears a similar combination of clothing with different boots, you can immediately see the difference. The clothes might be almost identical. The jeans are similar. The shirt is similar. The jacket is similar. But the boots change the entire feeling. That's how powerful footwear can be. Sometimes one change is enough to completely alter an outfit, making the outfit your own. And that's what I want people to understand. You can be inspired by someone without becoming that person. If you look at Austin Butler and think, I like those boots, that doesn't mean you need to become Austin Butler. You can take the boots. You can take the idea of the jacket. You can take the proportions. You can take the way the jeans sit, and then you make it yours. That's the difference between inspiration and imitation. The same jeans, different shoes. Look at this. Tell me if this isn't essentially the same outfit. The jeans are similar, and the overall proportions are similar. But the boots have changed. You can see the heel and the shape of the boot. Then compare that with the cowboy boots. The cowboy boots have a different heel and a different structure, but they still create a similar visual effect. The trousers sit around the ankle, and everything connects. This could even be the same pair of jeans or a similar pair from another outfit. And again, you can see how changing the shoes changes the entire appearance. Waist-length jackets. Now look at this jacket. I'm not sure which brand it is, but what I like is that it sits right around the waist. There's a design around the waist that gives the jacket structure. When he wears it with these jeans, you can actually see the relationship between the jacket and the trousers. The jacket holds the waist visually, and that creates a really interesting proportion. Then you add the boots, the shirt, and the bandana. Everything works together. And that's when you look at an outfit and think, that looks like him. Clothes should look lived in. I think that that's one of the biggest things about Austin Butler's style. His clothes often look lived in. They don't always look like they were just taken out of a box. They look like clothes that someone has actually worn. And I think that creates character. You can see the boots being used. You can see the jeans being worn. You can see the jacket developing its own appearance over time. The clothes start becoming part of the person. And when that happens, the outfit becomes more than just clothes. Timeless pieces. Now look at this outfit. The boots have changed again. Different boots, different feeling, but the overall style is still there. That's why I think Austin needs timeless shoes. From the jacket to the jeans to the boots, everything has this timeless quality. You can look at the outfit years later and it still makes sense. That's what I mean by timeless. It doesn't feel trapped in one particular year. You don't have to change everything. Look at this outfit. The black jeans, the leather jacket, the boots. Again, the foundation is similar. He might change the shirt. He might change the jacket. He might change the boots. But the identity stays. And I think that's important. You don't have to constantly reinvent yourself just because you're wearing clothes. You can have a foundation. You can have a few things that always feel like you. And then you can experiment around them.
Your body will change.
Your style can adapt. You can also see how clothing can look different depending on your body and how you wear it. Someone can look leaner in one photograph and more built in another. That doesn't mean the clothes suddenly stopped working. If the clothes fit your proportions and you feel comfortable in them, you can continue wearing them as your body changes. You might need to adjust your sizing. You might need a different cut. But the idea remains the same. Wear clothes that work with you, not against you. The cowboy boots. Now we get to the cowboy boots. Look at the shape, the long shaft, the heel, the structure, and then look at how the jeans fall over them. This is one of the reasons cowboy boots can create such a strong silhouette. The boot extends upward, while the jeans create a continuous line over it. It can make the whole outfit feel more structured, and when the proportions are right, everything looks connected. The boots don't look like they're fighting the jeans. The jeans don't look like they're fighting the jacket. Everything agrees. Inspiration from movies. This is another thing I love about movies. You can watch a character and discover clothes that inspire you. Maybe you see a jacket. Maybe you see a pair of jeans. Maybe you see a pair of boots. You don't have to copy the entire outfit. You can take one idea from it. Someone else's art can inspire you to make your own art. That's how I look at fashion. Austin Butler inspires me, but I'm not Austin Butler. I'm never going to be him, and that's okay. I don't need to be him. I can take the things that inspire me and use them to find myself. My own version. For example, I might look at one of Austin's outfits and think, I like the brown cowboy boots. I like the white Levi's jeans. I like the Carhartt jacket. I like the formal blue shirt underneath. But I don't necessarily need the exact same brands. I already know what kind of jeans work for me, so I can find my own pair. It doesn't have to be Levi's. It could be another brand. The important thing is getting the right size and the right cut for me. That's what I mean when I say, make it your own. I experienced this myself. I actually wore a similar outfit to an interview once. I had the boots, the white jeans, the Carhartt style jacket, and a formal blue shirt underneath. I didn't have the belt, so I simply worked with what I had. And you know what? The interview went really well. I didn't get the job, but the experience itself was great. The questions felt easy. We were joking and talking, and the conversation became much more natural than I expected. When I walked out of the room, people were looking at me as if I had already got the job. I even got a number that I could use to stay in contact. But the point isn't that the outfit got me the job. The point is that I felt comfortable in what I was wearing. I wasn't scared. I wasn't trying to become someone else. I was just myself. And when you feel comfortable in what you're wearing, that confidence can affect how you carry yourself. Don't copy the celebrities, see. This is where I think people sometimes get confused. If you like Austin Butler, you don't have to copy everything he does, especially when it comes to celebrity events. Celebrities have stylists. They attend premieres, award shows, and events where dressing a certain way is part of the job. That's their world. You don't have to take every single thing you see there and bring it into your own life. If you do, you can lose the original reason you were inspired in the first place. You can become more focused on looking like them instead of finding yourself. There are different versions of Austin Butler, and that's another reason I find him interesting. Not every outfit he wears is necessarily something I like. There are outfits where I might take the shirt, maybe I'll take the trousers, maybe I'll take the jacket, but I won't take the shoes. And that's perfectly fine, because I'm not trying to recreate Austin Butler. I'm studying his style. I'm asking, what do I actually like here? Maybe it's the jacket. Maybe it's the sweater. Maybe it's the boots. Maybe it's the proportions. Maybe it's the way everything looks lived in. I take those elements and make them mine. David Beckham and other inspirations. And Austin isn't the only person I want to explore. David Beckham is another person whose outfits I find interesting. He's someone who can move between different styles while still maintaining an identity. That's something I want to explore in another Oceans Made outfit guide, because there are so many people who can inspire us. But inspiration doesn't mean imitation. Why I do this? I could easily create an outfit channel where I simply put on expensive clothes, take pictures, and wait for people to ask, where did you get that? That can be good content too. But that's not really what I want this channel to be about. I don't want you to watch me and think I need exactly what Ocean is wearing. Instead, I want you to look at an outfit and think, what do I like about this? And how can I make my own version? That's the difference. If you like an outfit, that's fine. Go and find something similar. But don't buy something just because somebody else looks good wearing it. Make sure it fits you. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure it actually feels like you. It's more than just clothes. With people like Austin Butler, I think there's more to study than just the clothes. It's not simply about putting on expensive clothing. It's about the relationship between the person and the clothes. That's what makes an outfit interesting. You can see someone wearing a simple pair of jeans, a shirt, and boots, and somehow the outfit feels completely different because of the person wearing it. That's what I'm interested in. Not just the clothes, the person inside the clothes. Finding yourself. I think everyone can become unique. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to chase every trend. You don't need to constantly change your wardrobe. Sometimes you just need to pay attention to what naturally attracts you. Maybe it's vintage clothing. Maybe it's boots. Maybe it's denim. Maybe it's leather. Maybe it's formal clothing. Maybe it's something completely different. But once you start noticing those patterns, you start understanding yourself. And that's where personal style begins. Final thoughts. So, looking at Austin Butler's outfits, I don't think the biggest lesson is dress like Austin Butler. The lesson is find out what makes Austin Butler look like Austin Butler, and then figure out what makes you look like you. For me, it's the things I naturally gravitate toward: timeless pieces, denim, boots, leather jackets, clothes that feel lived in, things that have character, things that feel comfortable, and most importantly, things that make me feel like myself. That's why I study these outfits. Not because I want to become Austin Butler, but because he inspires me to find my own version. Someone else's art can inspire you to make your own art. Someone else's style can inspire you to discover your own. And that's what Ocean's Made Outfit Guide is about. There is always going to be that one outfit that feels like you. Maybe it's jeans and boots. Maybe it's a formal outfit. Maybe it's something completely different. You don't have to know immediately. Just keep looking, keep experimenting, keep growing, and eventually, you'll start seeing yourself in the clothes, not the other way around. That's it for today. I'll continue exploring Austin Butler's style in another episode because there is still a lot more to look at. And if you have questions or want me to break down a particular outfit, leave it in the comments. Because if this content isn't helping someone discover something about their own style, then I don't really see the point of making it. There is more to fashion than simply putting on clothes. It's about finding yourself. So until next time, peace out.